So, hi Jason. I'm curious if there's anything that you'd like to share about how you experienced our last RC, and pre-circling or during the circle itself, or what you see as its potential.
So you're going to tell people that this is unpremeditated and you just made me sit down in a chair and talk about this, right? So I'm not supposed to sound smart or anything.
You can sound whatever you want to sound.
So, the first question that comes up is, wow, should I talk about this last one, or should I talk about like the experience with the whole system, or I don't know.
I guess I'm interested in this last circle,
Okay.
and maybe within the context of the system as well.
Because I mean, we've had circles in this system for probably like, gosh, I can't even remember, 2 years at least. 2 years, yeah. And the circles have felt like they've been evolving, and this was the first circle where there was a big percentage of the people that were actually invited from outside of the system, so outside of the people who have been regularly attending Restorative Circle practice group, or even been invited to circles. There was a lot of people who had never participated in a live circle before who were invited. It was also the first circle in which we had a large number of people say no to actually coming to the circle. And so because of that, it actually, as the facilitator of the circle, there's a cat fight going on in the background.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I was invited to be the facilitator of the circle, and as the facilitator, I actually was put into this situation of how to handle a no when people ask the question, do you want to go ahead? And there was a couple of situations that were quite challenging for me around that, and it was actually a big help for me in terms of my growth and recognizing that I think there's a huge potential in restorative circles as a process, and I can communicate that effectively to the people who have been invited and who are saying no, and explore together with them what it is that they're confused about, or what it is that they're saying yes to. So what needs of theirs that they're wanting to meet, or what are the good reasons that they're wanting to do something besides coming to the circle. And I think before that wasn't easy for me. I think I would just easily just say, oh, you don't want to come? Oh, okay, fine. And there was quite a few times when I engaged with people to find out that they actually had concerns about the process itself, and they didn't trust that it was a process that was going to represent everyone in the circle, and I think they were nervous that it was going to be an attack session on one of the people in the circle, and that gave an opportunity to clarify actually what the process is. And I think this is one of the means that's going to be really helpful to see restorative circles grow in Oroville, especially because people will be invited to participate in circles in this way. So I think that the more gets out, the more people who are invited, the more clarity that people have about how RC works. It's great. It's great. The circle itself kind of ran into a problem that I see in the circles in Oroville quite frequently, which is a time limit problem. That we ran the circle, I think we stopped at 2.5 hours, and we made a choice to go ahead and start working on an action plan, and one of the participants of the circle showed up with new information that would have normally sent us back to exploring what the meaning of that was, and what, how that new meaning affects what we'd already talked about. And we had to make a choice in the circle to go that direction or to continue forward with an action plan. And because of the small amount of time we had left, we chose to continue with the action plan, which I don't even think was necessarily the right choice to make. But if there wasn't a time pressure to finish, we could have easily explored that. But I had this curiosity about what do we do, and it seems like 2.5 hours is quite a lot of time for people to stay engaged and focused, and more than that is really difficult. So, I think I really enjoy this when I'm back here in Oroville. I enjoy that sense that actually I am in a restorative system. I'm part of a restorative system. I don't even know how to describe what that feels like, but it's almost a sense of security that there's a group of people that have shared agreements about how they're going to live together and what they're going to do when things aren't working the way that they want them to, and that I know that I'm part of that. And so if something actually isn't working out for me, that I could call a circle. And
pause, because I have a battery problem. I have to go get the charger.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so electricity problem. We're back.
So one of the things that I liked about this circle was I think people realized right away what the potential of the circle was. So even though there was discussion about sort of individual what do I want to say? Individual perspectives on the situation, or individual pain, or individual conflict. I think a lot of points got brought up about, as a community, how do we want to respond? That we had a lot of people sharing about the challenges on a more community level, as opposed to, well, this is a particular person and this particular person needs that. It was more recognizing that in this case, do we want to have a central authority that you know, we send our problems off to, and we let them decide what needs to happen, and then when the person has been, you know, sentenced and they've been given their punishment, then, you know, the rest of the community has to abide by it. But when we're in a voluntary community and there's no group that can enforce these sentences, you know, and not everybody in the community wants to play along with the sentence, wow, then what happens? You know, somebody who's been exiled from the community says, oh, I don't want to be exiled anymore, so I'm gonna come and I'm gonna go to a yoga class. Well, what does the teacher of the yoga class do? Because there's no police department to call in Oroville. And so it's really a very, very fascinating place to live, and it's a fascinating question. And suddenly I was surprised actually that, you know, the whole point of, oh, look, you know, here we are, this is a perfect case for restorative circles, and now that's what we're doing. And I think that was, well, maybe that was pointed out, actually. It was like, maybe we talked about it being glad that this was a first step to doing something different. And I think maybe that was some of the concerns of people who chose not to come, was they were concerned it would be the entire time would be a personal issue, a personal focus of who was wrong and what they did and how they should be punished, and so I was really happy to see that we had time to talk about the difficulties with individuals, but then from that, what did we take out of it, or we took out of it, wanting clarity, what are we supposed to do in these situations, and wanting new ideas about what might be possible to do differently. I guess I wished that we had had more time for the action plan, so that we could have had a wider range of creative ideas of what to do and as the next steps. And I guess it's a work in progress. I don't think we can solve any of these things, and I don't think the intention was to try to solve it, but at least to come up with a different way of doing it than we've done it in the past. And I'm happy to be part of that experiment. Isn't that right, Coco?
Cool. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.